My wife, F35, of 7 months had an emotional affair with her trainer, M50, but I, M34, think it may have gone farther. Hi everyone, sorry for the wall of text, but I promise it's all relevant. My wife has been extremely depressed since we got married 7 months ago. Our sex life was non-existent for years as we have both battled depression for a long time. I had made the decision early on foolishly that I loved her enough that I could accept that. If we were lucky, we had sex maybe once every 6 months. 3 months ago, she decided to start going to personal training once a week. After a month, she started becoming colder and more distant to me and started telling me that she was becoming friends with her trainer. One day she came and told me that she and her trainer were going to go and get a coffee after training one day. It made me uncomfortable, which I expressed to her. She was unhappy with my discomfort but made it clear that she intended to go. I said it was okay because I did not want to be controlling and that while I found it unusual and it made me uncomfortable, I had no reason not to trust her. So she went and they had a long talk over coffee where she was out of touch for about 4 hours. Afterward, she came home and told me about what they talked about. Nothing too alarming. Over the next month, however, they began spending time together out of contact after their sessions, which usually involved taking walks together and going for dinner. I felt at this moment that it was getting extremely inappropriate and began to express this more directly. Our communications were breaking down and she began to express frustration at my concern over the situation. She told me that nothing was happening and that I was acting crazy and that if I told her I didn't want her to see him anymore, that she would hate me for it. I didn't want that. I felt everything was my overreacting because of how strongly she was reacting, so I told her that's not what I wanted. In her slight defense, she did also say she wanted to start reaching out to her old friends more as well to get out of the house and start being more social again, which I totally support. We had become serious shut-ins during and after COVID lockdowns. After this point, she began to get even colder towards me. We barely spoke and argued plenty. One day she told me that he, the trainer, was coming by our apartment to give her something from the gym. She thought it would be workout equipment, but instead, it was 24 roses. She seemed a bit unsettled by it but decided in her own words not to look too deeply into it, because after all, in her own words, he's just a really nice guy and a good person. I, however, was extremely alarmed and very uncomfortable, and she did nothing to inspire my confidence in her that nothing was going on. He eventually told her later that they were a gift from work to the trainers because it was Mother's Day. She believed this, but I did not. Over the next few weeks, things got worse. She began to tell me how she was unhappy, how she hated her life. She has always battled with depression, so these are not new things that we haven't worked through together with in the past. What was new, however, is that she felt smothered in our relationship and told me that she wanted to explore opening our relationship up and dating women since she never got the chance to explore her sexuality since we got together and became exclusive before she had the chance to try. I was not okay with this. I did not want that. This is the woman I spent a decade with and we just got married this year. We were best friends and agreed on everything, and now we agreed on nothing. We argued relentlessly about opening the relationship, and eventually, I started to soften on the idea because I was so stressed out and worried that I might lose her that I was willing to do anything to save the relationship. But over the next couple of days, I flip-flopped a lot because of how unsure, uncomfortable, and unhappy I was. This made her extremely mad. Eventually, we had a big discussion. It was looking like it was time to break up, and then she dropped the bomb on me. She told me that despite saying she never wanted to date guys again, despite assuring me emphatically that she was not interested at all, she told me that she had developed feelings for her trainer. I lost it. I accused her of gaslighting me, manipulating me, and making me think I was crazy. That she had an emotional affair lasting months that made me more depressed than I have ever been. I told her she never took my feelings or considerations into account throughout all of this time, and she admitted it was all true. She broke down as I had never seen her before. It was at this time that she went to stay at a hotel for the weekend. We both had agreed that we needed our space to work through our own feelings. She was there for 2 nights over the weekend. She told me before she left that she was going to tell her trainer she couldn't see him anymore, and that is what she says she did when she was staying at the hotel. Of course, in hindsight, this is basically the perfect set of circumstances for her to complete the affair. When she returned, she told me that they had spoken and agreed to not see each other outside of training again, but that we needed to break up. I was extremely depressed. I didn't trust her. She broke a decade of trust in our relationship together, so, of course, I agreed that we should break up. So that's what we did. We're going to lose the apartment we rented together. I moved back into my parents' place, real great for me, by the way, super happy about that, and she will have to find her own apartment since neither of us wants to or could even afford to stay there on our own. She may have to stay there for a few months while she looks, though. I took our dog with me and she kept the cats, though realistically both of us may end up having to give them away as we start our new lives apart. So tell me, she cheated emotionally on me, but do you think she had sex with him? Because the more I think about it, the more I believe she did. After all, I never thought she would emotionally cheat on me, but if she's capable of that, then why not fucking her trainer? Now some of the comments. I believe the trainer was balls deep in her. Probably the 4-hour coffee was the first. But another man taking my wife out to dinner more than once? EFF that. No point in getting evidence. Just remember that you married a lying cheater. Do yourself a favor and look for a partner that checks your boxes and matches your libido. And if any of that depression is still present in you, please seek counseling, as that will help you with your next relationship. Your GF has a BF. Probably physical, but at least an emotional affair. She didn't really care to address your concerns while she was in the affair fog, and if they didn't have sex before she went to the hotel, she did then. The flowers were a dead giveaway. His gym did not get 24 roses for trainers, especially male ones, on Mother's Day. That was a cover story. She's been playing you for a while. Get out and stay out. At only 7 months, you might be able to get an annulment instead of a divorce. It's a gym affair with a body-proud AP. It's a very physical affair because that's what he's got to offer primarily. Gym affairs are almost exclusively physical affairs. She isn't discussing the finer points of Proust or world peace with this guy. Going on dates does not make it an EA. A PA requires a certain amount of spade work to kickstart too. If she hasn't already had sex with him on one of these walks, during a time when she lied about going to the gym and met him instead, or at the hotel, then she shortly will. If I was a betting man, then it turned physical almost immediately. File for divorce whilst she thinks she's got an upgrade. She's about to find out just how fleeting gym affairs are. It won't be long before Lothario is onto the next pretty thing that turns his eye. She won't be the first woman to get 24 roses from him and won't be the last. This guy will have a loyalty card with the florist. The minute she starts up with her depression or issues, then Lothario won't put up with that.